Boy, that's the $1 million question, because you're only as good as your crews. And I tell you, I tell this audience, I tell anybody that we had to kiss a whole lot of frogs to find our princess, because you get a bad crew and there's not much you can do about it. I like to find the crews that have multiple trades that can handle everything. Where we've got one crew, they've got their electrician, their plumber, their tile guy, those things.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is based in the greater Atlanta area and helps homeowners get top dollar by handling pre-sale renovations with payment due at closing. Please welcome Greg Bennett. Greg, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate you. Thank you.
It's great to have you on here, Greg, and it's a very interesting type of transaction to talk about. Pay at closing pre-sale renovations. I was actually totally unfamiliar that this was something that goes on. Walk me through it.
Okay, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's pay at closing. First and foremost, there's no credit check. There's no credit requirements. There is a requirement that the homeowner have equity in the property, and we secure it by using a UCC lien to secure our investment. We come in and do whatever is necessary to get the home top dollar. We go from the curb back, but I would say 75-80% of is deferred maintenance type, new flooring, new paint, countertops, things like that. And we allow the homeowner to, rather than sell it for less, especially in this market, if you think about this market right now, it's gotten a little crazy. You got to win a beauty contest and you got to win a prize war. So you got to to stand out in the competition. You've got to go out there and do some things. So we allow the homeowners to do that work. A lot of homeowners don't either have the resources or they don't have the know-how to bring a company in to do all of that work. So we come in and we do everything. You see it from start to finish, curb back, and postpone that payment until the house sells.
I'm curious, how do folks get in touch with you? Is it a lot of word of mouth? Is it through realtors? Or are people in greater Atlanta generally aware that they have this option?
Well, that's a great question. It started out strictly through realtors. We belong to a lot of realtor groups. We do a lot of lunch and learns, promotions and things like that. So we built up that reputation where we get a lot of the referral business. But now the market has changed a little bit. We do have a web presence, and they do find us online for the pre-sale renovation. So we'll get a direct homeowner that'll give us a call. We require that they work with a realtor. If they don't have a realtor, we'll refer them to some realtors that we work with, which is a great lead source for them. However, most of the time, if they don't have a realtor, they have to have a realtor. That's part of our contractual obligation. It has to be listed with the FMLS, and it has to have a realtor.
One of the things that I mentioned to you before hopping on here, Greg, was before I became a realtor myself, licensed in Texas, I was working with a lot of fix and flippers. And then I realized over time, it seemed some of that market was drying up because people really wanted newer or like new homes. And what's interesting about the type of deals that you're involved in is I'm sure you're seeing that as well. The homes that are needing more TLC, that are needing more, you mentioned deferred maintenance, right? And they're not getting done. They're selling for less. They're taking longer to sell. And so really the market in many locations, greater Atlanta, Texas, is demanding that folks sell homes that are like new.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yes, we're finding that to be more and more true. In fact, it's on our phone has, when the market kind of went down a little bit, pricing dropped and it kind of slowed down. Our numbers went up. Our phone is ringing off the hook because everybody realizes that you do actually need to go ahead and get that paint. You do need to go ahead and change those floors. Nobody wants to move into a house and have to do all of that. I don't know if it's generational or if what drives that, other than most people just want to buy the home, set the furniture down, and go do their thing. And so they're going to set, and you're going to get, if you haven't done the things that need to be done to upgrade your house to get it market ready, the house is going to set and it's going to sell for less, and that's a fact.
I want to ask you about getting into the space because as someone who's worked with a lot of investors, fix and flip, right? It's a different arena, but it's maybe similar and related in some sense. There's risk in fix and flip. I can imagine when you're taking payment at closing, there may be some risk as well, of course. When you were first getting into this space, how did you have the idea for the deferred payments at closing? And then also, how has your underwriting process either stayed the same or changed over time?
Great. That's a great question. When we first started this, it's actually a friend of mine. His name is Dave Booth. He's a retired police officer. Funny story about him. But anyways, he's a retired police officer. He went and got his real estate license, and he said, if we could have some kind of program that would allow us to get these properties fixed and let them postpone payment, we would just blow the market up. And because there was nothing out there at the time. There's a few companies that do it now, but at the time there was nothing. And so we went and just put together through trial and error, a lot of bumps in the road, learning what to do, what not to do. And we put this program together. As far as the underwriting criteria is concerned, there is no credit, there is no down payment. We do require them two things: that they have equity in the home, and we like to go with a 70% of after repair value. That's where we want to be, and we require that they be caught up on their mortgage. So those are the two things, and then we secure our work with a UCC lien that allows us to secure that, whatever that would be.
I want to ask you about, each home is going to be different, right? Each home is going to need a specific amount of work. When the homeowners are coming to you, when they're reaching out to you, either through their realtor or through a referral, and they're saying, we want these things done. Maybe it's new countertops, new roof, flooring. Hey, we need foundation, any type of maintenance that could come up, right? And you're looking at it and you're saying, well, in order for us to be secure, we may actually need to do more than this because we know we know exactly what is going to be necessary in order to command top dollar. Are you seeing a lot of that where you're actually doing sometimes more than what homeowners are requesting because hey, this is what it's going to take to get it to the conditions where the market is at?
Yes, 9 out of 10 times that's going to be the case. A lot of times, what we prefer is that we work directly with the realtor. Through the realtor with the homeowner. The realtor is not emotionally attached to the home. The homeowner may be emotionally attached. And so a lot of times you get into that. And what we like to do is I wouldn't want to say it's cookie cutter, but there are items that work and items that don't. You know that if you do this or do that, it's going to get top dollar. Whereas sometimes you'll see a homeowner that will want something done, like, they want to upgrade their closet because they need more closet space. At the end of the day, that's not necessarily bringing more dollars instead. And they're emotionally attached to it. So, and you understand that they've been there. Or they, depending on what their situation is and why they're selling, you can understand that. But if the realtor stays involved, the most successful projects that we have is we run through realtors, and they court.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Back it.
I mean, from what I've seen, and I can only speak for Texas, you've got the kitchen, you've got the master bathroom, then you've got, I would say, just the face of the home, right? And those three things are really the driving factors as far as what I can tell. Is that a lot of what you're looking at as well, or are there some other things that are of great interest when you're looking at doing these rehabs?
Very much so. Still kitchens and baths, cell homes. That hasn't changed. However, curb appeals, you have to have that curb appeal. Because remember, most of your decisions are made online. They're shopping and scrolling, and if you don't have curb appeal, they're just going to pass you by. So you got to have some curb appeal in there too. So we're putting a heavy emphasis on curb appeal. Kitchens and baths, that's never going to change. That's what ultimately is what sells the house. And then just upgrades. New paint, new flooring. We do a lot of LVP. We're doing a ton of LVP floors, whereas, when we first started, it was probably 50-50 carpet and LVP. Now it's pretty much just LVP. And that seems to be, an upgrade. And
I want to ask you about decades and specific year of homes. Is there a sweet spot where you would say, hey, if someone bought a home in this year, then it's still going to be in good enough condition where they're not going to need like a roof to studs gut, or they're not going to have some big issues. But at the same point in time, they will be able to do a relatively manageable rehab and see top dollar? Or is it a specific decade where you say, well, in this you start seeing problems, whether it's the 50s, 40s, or what have you?
well, that's great. That's a good question. We just rehabbed one that was 6 years old, but it was lived in very hard. Very hard. New floors, new paint, and it did a lot of pet damage. They had pets, so we get a lot of that. And then you get the fun ones, I call them, because those are the ones I like. I like the older homes that we could bring up to date. Those are the ones, the before and afters are so beautiful. You look at this. We may actually go in and recommend that we move a wall, open up for open space concept, and we do some of that because the neighborhood dictates, the area dictates, and you can just go pull cons. I wouldn't say that it's the way that the houses have been lived in and treated and taken care of.
Okay.
Obviously, if they have a lot of animals and there's going to be some damage, things like that. So we do a lot of that.
I do want to pivot a bit here, Greg, and ask you about doing this at scale, right? Because I know working with fix and flippers, it can be challenging to manage multiple jobs and contractors and deadlines and so on and so forth. When you're doing this with folks that are trying to sell their home, and it's a third party, right? There's, of course, an increased responsibility, increased concern, and then having multiple of these going on concurrently. When you were scaling in the initial stages, how did that process evolve? And then also, what advice would you have for folks who may be looking at either doing multiple flips of their own or for other people concurrently?
Well, that's the $1 million question, because you're only as good as your crews. And I tell this audience, I tell anybody that we had to kiss a whole lot of frogs to find our princess, because you get a bad crew and there's not much you can do about it. I like to find the crews that have multiple trades that can handle everything. Where we've got one crew, they've got their electrician, their plumber, their tile guy, those things, and that's what's been successful for us. It allows them to get in and get out, because remember, time is everything too. If we got a 6-month project, realtors aren't going to come this year anymore. So we got to turn. So we try to turn, on average, we try to turn in volume per house. I like to give it about a $2,500 a day turn time for, retail price. That's typically what it works out to be. So, a 10-day project, a $25,000 project is going to take 10 days.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I do want to ask you maybe a niche question related to Atlanta, and I'm actually a little bit unfamiliar with the seasons in Atlanta. I can speak for Texas. Texas, you've got some areas which will have all 4 seasons, then you'll have some which won't see any snow. But when I think of real estate, of course, there is a seasonality to it. But then if you're also adding a rehab to it, people have to plan in advance. Is there an ideal time frame for folks who are thinking of doing a rehab to reach out to you? Is it January? Because then it'll be ready by, March time frame. Is there an ideal time frame?
The only thing that I could say here for Atlanta, we do also have the 4 seasons. Weather can be a concern if you have a lot of exterior repairs in the winter months. You do get some shutdown days here, not as much, but you do get some. I think it's more selling season, being ready to go on the market. In the spring, which is that's your best time to sell a house. People are moving there because of the kids and the changing locations, school districts and stuff like that. But since we've started this, I haven't noticed that the season will change. We stay pretty consistent throughout the whole process. Maybe a little bit more in the spring, but not that much more. It's just pretty consistent.
I do want to ask you about rehabbing in general. And for folks who may be taking a look at getting into real estate investing, whether it's with themselves or with partners, and they're looking at doing their first rehab, and they're thinking, should I go for a big rehab? Should I go for something where it's going to be, just a little bit of a touch up? And your experience based on that, how might you guide folks if they're looking at doing their first rehab?
If they're first doing their first rehab, and I'm assuming if they're going to be they own the house and they're flipping it for themselves. Is that the question that we're asking? If I was doing my first rehab, I would want to stick with the basics, the paint and flooring, countertops kind of thing. Once you get into the moving the walls and the electrical and the this and the that, you've got in specialties, and those can set you back. Flip a few that you can get in and just do the basic upgrades, just deferred maintenance type items. Get your feet wet, get your crews underneath you, start working with your crews, and then understand from there. Because like I said, crews are everything. No matter what I say and do, if we've got a bad crew, it's going to reflect, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to be a delay. And nobody wants that.
Greg, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go if they're in the greater Atlanta area and they'd like to reach out to you, maybe that they've got a home that needs some rehab before listing?
That's great. We can go to renomaxpros.com, www.renomaxpros.com, and they can get all the information they need on the website, or they could just give us a call. The phone number's on there. I got a partner, Chris. She's the looker of she's she's the brain trust behind this, but she's also very organized, and she will get you set up. And what we like to do is come out and give a scope, and it doesn't cost anything to look, and you can get an idea of what it would take. I will say this: a lot of people ask, how do you make money? How we make money is we base our pricing on insurance reimbursement pricing. So if a tree were to fall on a house and have the damage, our prices are based off of what that insurance company would reimburse. That's how we get our number.
Greg, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thanks for having me, Dylan. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.